Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Elias here with Weekly Wrestling Heat. We are back with another episode. Welcome to Three Man Crew tonight. Angel and Moise, welcome. Welcome.
Hello.
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 Super excited.
Hello.
The crowd that we were just watching.
I know. We were just watching for everybody has fallen Impact. We were just watching a little bit of it. We won't spoil it, but yeah. Yeah.
It's already out. Let's spoil it. It's already out.
Oh, well, we're watching the Bullet Club segment with Jay White and Kenny and the Good Brothers. Yeah, that it became a little brawl and the crowd was dead, like dead.
Yeah.
Dead.
Sad.
I'm gonna rewatch it on my TV in like an hour, and I'll tell you if the crowd sounds any better on TV.
Probably not.
Probably not, but sure. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead and do what you do. Let us know what happens.
So wrestling news, something that will get the crowd hype. Daniel Bryan has officially signed with AEW.
Yeah, that's interesting because it's reported by bodyslam.net, I think.
Correct.
Which a lot of their stuff has been marked kind of unreliable but reliable at the same time. Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful kind of confirmed it, but he said that he doesn't know yet. They haven't got an official confirmation of what's going on yet. So it's up in the air, but you know, all signs are pointing to Daniel Bryanson.
Bryan Danielson.
Bryan Danielson actually joining AEW in the next couple of months. It would be a total swerve if all this talk was just. I don't know who said it on our chat, but somebody said that if this was John Alba supposedly has said that, what if this is just WWE creating press just to have Daniel Bryan appear on WWE TV?
So, LeVar said something similar yesterday on his AEW post show too, which he's pretty well connected to WWE, but it seems like they already have a debut date and everything in mind. So we'll find out at that New York show, I guess. But the CM Punk stuff, I don't think any of us want to touch on because it's still so up in the air.
Yeah, no, we'll state it. I mean, there's also a rumor that CM Punk is supposedly signed with AEW as well. Which, you know, if in my, and I will say this, if they do manage to land CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, I think it would be a good thing for AEW because they'll get, but at the same time, in my general opinion, I think it will kind of hurt the rest of the roster because then you got two new guys, and what are you going to do with the rest of the people that are? It could possibly set a couple of people back. So, you know, unless they're there,
I don't think they're adding that extra hour.
Yeah, that, and then Tony Khan's teasing a new live show as well.
I think that's more of just like they're doing like a stadium or something, I think is what he's gonna advertise.
So Alfred Kunoa from Forbes magazine yesterday on the AEW post show for Wrestling Inc. said, how cool would it be if once every quarter they competed with Raw?
I wouldn't like that as a fan.
I think it would be good to see what the numbers do because it would get WWE to get their shit together, I think.
But
from a business standpoint, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, from a business. Okay, put it like this. And here's what is kind of funny to me. And this is just me noticing stuff about it. So remember when Main Event and Superstars and 205 Live were on and popping, people were like, oh, you know, you're getting downgraded to these superstars were getting downgraded to Main Event and Superstars. But now everybody's like, well, Dark Elevation or Dark is good. And now that they're adding Rampage, which is another hour, everybody's like, yeah, that's good. But then people shit on WWE programming like Main Event or Superstars.
You're like, taking everything out of context there, 100%. Because they're designed for different reasons.
I agree. I kind of
Dark and Dark Elevation are for, specifically Elevation is for young talent who's not yet fully developed or they're working on things. I can speak to that 100% because of the show I just was at. What was
But
going
I
on during
always see,
Elevation
but I guess
versus
because I always see main event, main roster, or I guess main card guys on Dark and Elevation. So it's like
how is she
like
going to get the other young guys to learn?
one on one with each other, or if
No,
you're
So who's
Del
leading it?
Bellameno,
Who's
like
leading the match when
Del
you do that?
the Bella, unless like the developmental, like Tony Khan, they said that we don't have to have a developmental center or peak
He says
performance center.
we don't have a performance center. We learn on the road in the ring. I think you're twisting things 100% there, Elias. And it's surprising because Moyes agrees with me. I'm going to call you out on this one.
I don't see. I see.
Stop. You already lost this argument. You're trying to say 205 Live is not just meant because Vince wants those guys over there?
No, it's extra reps. It's an extra show. You trying
and
to
where do
put
they go
everybody
after
on.
that? They don't do anything with them after they're on 205. That's why the whole thing's closed now.
It's still open though.
I will say next week Kushida is on 205 Live.
Who's on what? The show that has a champion who gets pinned in 2 minutes?
Well, he has a match apparently, but that was apparently the only match taped for it. So I think it's going to be an open challenge that goes like 30 minutes.
I'm just
But-
saying, like it's
Anyway.
don't you- after a while, don't you start thinking about too much programming in a sense? Because, like, in my opinion, I like it because of the fact that they have their little Dark Elevation that they're able to give people extra reps. But at the same time, when does it become too much programming?
But it's internet programming. It's not.
It's
they're not
different.
worried about the ratings for it.
It's a different type of programming.
I mean, it's the same thing with main event and superstars. It was always that Hulu or YouTube or WWE Network was on the WWE Network, so it's kind of, it never really about ratings. But anyways, we'll see.
I think Moyes agrees with me. He's being quiet about it.
Yeah, he has that evil smile on his face. This is the first time that I'm actually been out.
He's got the look of you WWE Mark. That's the look he's got.
You know what's funny? Moyes a year ago was like, "Oh man, freaking ratings don't matter. Why does the demo matter?" And he's the main one posting, "Oh man, AEW got 1.2 million, million, and the demo is this, all this and that."
It matters.
Fairness, though,
I think I brought that up years ago.
in fairness, am I not saying I think this is good for wrestling? I think it's good that every show this week increased in viewership. I don't know about NXT. I haven't seen their rating this week. I don't know.
NXT actually went up. Everybody went up. So the good thing about all this is that the fans are back, and that wrestling, the programs, with the exception of Raw, because Raw still kind of has a little work to do before they get back to the level they used to be at. A lot of work to do, in my opinion.
Wait. NXT went up during Game 7 or Game 6?
Yeah.
See, I think that's good. Like, I don't care if they're at 650 or whatever. Like, it's good.
But no, but that's consistent. That the thing about it is that AEW and NXT have always proven that they have that consistency.
He says up. You want to hear the numbers real quick, Moise?
Yeah.
He's saying up. Last week it was 705. This week it was 709. At least it held.
It's consistency. You cannot say that NXT has not been consistent with viewership, regardless of what it is. The only time they've gone underneath 600 is a while back when they were on another net, when they went to Sci-Fi, and that wasn't by much.
Right, they haven't been below 650.
Yeah.
Okay. So aside from the ratings, we talked about the two big news things. I really want to get y'all's opinion on this. One of my friends texted me. He watches NXT, for like once a month. He saw the Hit Row stuff, and he was like, "This is too gangsta for the audience at Full Sail or CWC." And me and Elias kind of touched on this last week. Angel, have you been keeping up with the Hit Row stuff, and how do you feel about it? Like, I love it personally. I told Elias I think it's good to get that African American audience, to get something to entice them to watch too. It'll appeal to the younger demo as well. What are your thoughts on the Hit Row stuff?
I haven't kept up with it. I think I skipped past that segment. That was where they had the guy rapping.
Yeah.
I thought
That's
you were
the
going to
only-
walk
that's-
into the Mexican mariachi. You said you were a big fan of it.
I did not say that.
You said
Elias
for
did.
the culture when I asked you.
I didn't
will
mean it
say
in a
this.
positive way.
I will say this: when it comes down to portraying Latin stereotypes in wrestling, all companies fell. Even the Andrade stuff, in a sense,
Oh,
kind of.
that was really good. Well, I think that's mostly just because we'll touch on that when we talk about the show. I'll tell you.
Anyways,
Let's dive into AEW. Lately, we've been jumping back and forth between what we like. Let's start with AEW because I want to start with the Andrade stuff. Because Angel, I'm going to agree with you again. I like the Andrade stuff. Elias thinks
I like it, but the whole. I watched this segment again before I started watching Impact, and the end of it was so anticlimactic, in my opinion. Like
one guy that's a heel isn't going to fight three baby faces.
Exactly.
I mean, you got Chavo Guerrero. Like,
you think Chavo is about to start fighting right now? That guy's not gonna touch anyone unless it's in a heelish, hold them from the sideline type thing. He's not gonna get involved in it.
I don't know. Chavo can still go in the ring. I've seen some of his matches.
Not in that suit. Did you see the suit? Did you see the wear?
No, I'm not gonna lie. Those suits were fucking fly. I was like, where did they get them? Like, but
it didn't come through. I watched the segment on the drive back or the show because I wanted to hear commentary. I wanted to hear what was being put over because it's different than what was live. So during this segment, what you didn't hear in the crowd was some unfortunate stuff, honestly, for Andrade. Obviously, he's been working on his English. He does way better than I thought he spoke English. But the crowd there, and this is in Dallas. So there's a Hispanic culture that's in Dallas. All the Spanish talking that was going, everyone understood it. But then you also have some of the crowd that doesn't. And I think the further north you go, if you do these, Spanish speaking segments, they're not going to go over well. You had pockets of the crowd just yelling "what chance," and it's the worst thing I can hear at a live show.
That's the worst thing about these fans being back is the stupid.
What's the point? Like, if I mean, obviously there's like 70-30 split probably between people who understood what Andrade was saying versus not here in Dallas.
Yeah,
up north you're probably going to get 80-20, 80-10, 90-10 the opposite way. But you had what chance going on. That's when Chavo pulls the mic. He starts speaking in English. He says it's for Pac, but it's for the crowd and obviously the audience at home. So that part was not good. And then also at the end, when he was saying, look at the people who work for me, he was saying, Lukey, right? It's just the way he's translating it back to English for him in his head. But the crowd started, some of those pockets started making fun of his English there. So I think that can cause an issue down the road.
Yeah.
Depending what city they're in, which is why I think it's awesome that Chavo's speaking a majority for him.
It's a better upgrade than having Vicky as his ballet, in my opinion. I'm still trying to figure out who the guy behind them is. And he looks very familiar. He looks really familiar. I just don't know who he is.
I'm sure somebody's got it out there.
So
I'm not sure.
One thing I will say, this is a company ran by Tony Khan, and as another Pakistani American growing up in the United States, like, I'm sure he accounted for that. That's why the Lucha Bros are with Pac. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Actually,
Santana
I don't know.
They don't need a translator because they were both born here, right? So it's the little things I picked up on, like Conan telling Blanchard a couple of weeks ago, you better learn Spanish because that's what your grandson's going to be speaking growing up. Just little things like that. So I will say with the minority owner, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting. It's like anyone who's foreign, whose English isn't the best, he wants to put with someone who can be a mouthpiece for them.
In the cases that they need it, yeah, for sure. Phoenix,
and it's
really good English though.
Really good because the segment itself, like I said, the end of it was kind of anticlimactic because it just they should have just rushed. In my opinion, it would have been cool to see them rush the ring and Andrade and and crew just ran out the ring and then continued to trash talking, but it just kind of fell flat a little bit in the end, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know if they knew where they were ending it at.
Yeah,
So-
so that,
and you could see some of I felt like in the arena, I felt like there was a lot of WWE still in Andrade, where the crowd's doing a chant, and usually in AEW they let this kind of flow out naturally. He kept trying to speak over them, like he was trying to go ahead and get the words out. And Chavo, even if you look, Chavo's trying to tell him, hold on, let it breathe, let this happen, and then continue. There's a lot of work that needs to be done in there.
Yeah, and that's natural, and that's natural because when you think about it, WWE is a well-oiled machine that you know how to work the crowd in their own sense. While AEW, you got free reign to do what you want in a sense. You don't, you're not scripted to the promos, even though you do kind of go through the promo,
the flow,
the flow of the promo. But at the same time, you have the little openness to do what you want. So Andrade, even with Big Show, with anybody that has crossed over from WWE to AEW, it takes a little minute for them to get adjusted to the environment. But Andrade is, I will say this, Andrade is really, really catching on quickly to the AEW flow. And them actually getting Chavo instead of Vicky, and then getting making this kind of feud is a good thing for that.
Real quick, can you show one of those comments again from Chris? I think he had one. Go back. One more. Chavo ain't about that life. All right, that there. Dark Elevation, I would tell you, Chris, which sucks to say watch something else, but the end of Dark Elevation had something to that.
Do we think this is going to end with one of the Lucha Bros or Boto turning? Because I don't think it's going to end like that. I don't think they're going to make all Hispanic faction just yet. I could see Thunder Rosa joining Andrade.
I think the goal of it, since all these companies are doing cross promotion, I find a little bit of. I say that Rush might make an appearance at AEW pretty soon.
Rush.
And La Facción Ingobernable. Rush, fool.
I don't know who that is.
It's Rush.
Anyways, but I think that they're aiming to have a reunion of Los Ingobernables.
He's tag teaming with Bandana, right? On ROH?
Bandito?
Bandana? Yeah, that guy. Yeah.
No, they had a match against each other in ROH.
Oh, so
Rush was the former Ring of Honor champion. Okay.
Who's the champion now?
Bandido.
Who?
Bandido.
Here for you, boys. Bandito.
Oh, Bandana. Yeah, Bandana. Maybe Bandana will make an appearance too, you know. What I was going to say, last thing on this Andrade thing, is his fiance is actually very good at letting the promos breathe. Charlotte, I think, is awesome at it.
I love seeing her like back because, and in a weird way, she feels very safe in doing whatever she wants. Obviously, so seeing her interact with the crowd is great right now. Because she's doing whatever she wants, really.
She knows she ain't gonna get the pink slip.
Exactly. So it's kind of cool to see.
and it kind
but it's different. That's what stands out with her, right? Like in the women's division.
And here's the thing: people are still complaining about her, being in the main event picture. But look what happened on Raw. She lost the title right one day after becoming champion. So it's like, obviously there's a plan for it. So if she becomes champion again,
the plan is to get the title again in a month. Nikki is not holding that title for more than 30 days.
Okay, but here's the thing: she sells, she brings the people. She's an attraction.
Wait, Nikki or
Tell
Charlotte?
me she's not an attraction.
Nikki
Tell me she's
Charlotte?
not a Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Tell me
yes,
Charlotte
definitely.
is not attractive.
But that crowd in Dallas, Nikki and Liv and Jelena got no pop.
Nikki did get it popped though for
When
for
once you won, but when she came out, there was no pop.
Yeah,
People were
nobody
"Who the
cares.
heck is this?"
yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
but
it was. I guess it's more
I
of
think
that.
people
You
were
know,
just
she
happy
cashed in her.
people were just happy Tamina or Natalia didn't win. That's what
Yeah.
it was.
So I'll ask you guys just overall, are y'all happy with the idea of Andrade and Death Triangle? That's, I guess, that was
I
what we're gonna
am.
end it on.
I'm actually. I want to see where this goes because AEW is doing this good thing with long term storytelling. That I am enjoying a lot, specifically with certain storylines going on right now. But with this one, if they play it out good, if they let it go for the long term, I think it could turn into something really special. Whether it involves splitting Pac from Phoenix and Penta, then that's good. Or if it involves something else, or one of them turning on them, then it wouldn't really matter. But the payoff is what I'm really.
They've had more turns than the Big Show did in WWE already.
Who?
The Lucha Bros, like they're with Eddie Kingston, then they're face, then they're back with Eddie Kingston as faces, then they turn heel the first time with Eddie Kingston. So
I think they're still heels though. I don't think they ever turned faces. I think they were just stuck heels.
I think they're very much in between people. Just
yeah,
it's kind of part of the nature of their act. They're over as an act to the degree of getting cheered, which like someone else will talk about probably later in this show. But they're definitely the faces of this, and the live crowd will tell you so.
Angel, you take it to the next segment, and then we'll give Elias the third segment. Just take it to whatever you liked, whatever you didn't like, whatever you want to talk about in AEW.
We're not gonna go just kind of by match or whatever. Okay.
No, we're gonna just hop
It doesn't
around.
have to be match by match. Just jump to something that off the audience.
Well, the thing that for me that was probably the biggest. It wasn't a good match at all. They're over. Yeah, they're super over. Heels, yeah. The New Day. I obviously want to talk about the final part of the show, but I definitely want to talk about probably the most over act in the company right now from being there was Britt Baker.
More so than OC, because OC got a big pop too when I was watching.
Definitely. In person, Britt got the biggest reactions of the crowd, at least live, hearing it live. And then obviously the DMD chant is a super easy thing to do.
Would you say that the top three pops were Britt, Adam Page, and OC?
No. Only because there's a lot of stuff that happened overnight, over the entire. I mean, it was like 6 hours of a show, honestly, live. People who got the biggest reactions were actually Death Triangle, as a group, because they had 3 other matches throughout the day. But Britt Baker, I think, had the loudest sustained reactions. And then with what she was able to do with Nyla to keep those reactions is pretty cool. And like you said, yeah, it would have been, who'd you say?
Hangman.
Hangman. And yeah, Lucha Brothers. Now Jericho's different kind of reaction, but he had a good reaction too. But yeah, I mean, overall, I hate saying it. Britt being so over kind of hurts the division to a degree. I just don't see who. I know they just signed Thunder Rosa, but you don't want that to happen right away.
I think if the heel Jade Cargill takes the belt off of her.
And that's if whatchamacallit doesn't go to Kiara Hogan doesn't go to AEW, because Kiara Hogan has a following too. So
I think if Kiara Hogan goes to AEW, they do that tag tournament again, and her and Diamante win it.
Diamante was pretty. She looked good, as well.
I really enjoy the fact that Britt Baker is champion right now, because she was the homegrown talent. She started with the company, and to her to build up because of injuries and stuff like that, to her to culminate and become champion and actually be able to have. I will say this, she's one of the top heels in the industry right now.
Is she a heel now, though? That's what I was going to go with this kind of segment was she's getting.
I would think she's a heel, but
super baby reactions. I think they're gonna flip it on her unless she does something to the degree of beating out. But you don't want to stop these chants, though. Is the problem? I think that's where they're in a little bit of an issue with her, and this is what I was saying. This is part of the problem with her. She's getting too good of reactions to where you probably don't want to put her up against any baby faces right now, because a lot of that leads to dead segments or dead moments with the company, because they're putting guys that are super over with each other against each other. Like you look at a match like what is it, Wheeler Yuta, and Darby Allin. I mean, Allen's the bigger guy, but Wheeler's coming out with Orange Cassidy. So the match feels dead, even though it was a good technical match. Just nobody cared because they were like, well, they're both good guys. Whoop-de-doo.
Well, then also you had Orange Cassidy and Sting on the outside doing their little shenanigans, so it took away from the match a little bit. So it's like, I think that's one thing that AEW does struggle with every once in a while is booking their top people in the company, because you're right. Like, you don't want to put. I think the only one close to come to that popularity is Tay Conti.
But
and
she
then,
already, I think she already lost
Either that, or when Anna Jay comes back, then that would be another.
I think Thunder Rosa in Texas would have got that pop.
She did, but it was already later in the night, and about a third of the crowd had left. But yeah, people loved seeing her.
So how do they tape these, dude? Does it go main show first and then Dark, then Elevation?
So the doors were open at 5. Between 6 and 7, they tape Dark because it's only like a 45-minute show, and then after, so between 9:30ish, actually till like 11, was Dark Elevation.
Did you stay for all of it?
Yes.
So what was this thing at Dark Elevation, the end, that you said people should watch the end? I
don't want to spoil that, but basically it was a pack match. It's not on TV yet. Or
that one's gonna get
on Monday.
Get posted Monday.
Yeah, but basically it was Pac. Huh?
Who'd he face? Can you say that or no?
Chuck Taylor.
Okay.
It was a really good match, and obviously Pac is freaking insane with what he does. Like he got, he wins. I won't spoil it. Who cares? He wins with a black arrow, and everyone just obviously that move always going to get a super pop. And then basically Andrade comes out at the end to just talk trash again, basically.
Do you think AEW has to cut some of this weight now that they're signing so many people?
No.
If they could find something
gone.
What?
There are some people you want gone, right?
No, I think that's you.
No, there's a very specific person. He knows that I want gone. That's why he's saying that.
My boy Joey.
Yeah, he needs to be gone as of like a year ago. But guess what? Guess who wasn't there? Go figure. Good. No. Anyway,
he was back to trolling people.
Back to what I wanted to talk about. Just anything women's division wise. A lot of what happened before and after. Just I guess because we brought it up, there was a lot of women's training matches. To the point of people were like, wow, there was more women's matches than men's matches, which is probably true. Just the actual Dynamite was men and then one women's match. So I think just Britt being that over, she's a babyface. And next week is North Carolina, but the week after is Pittsburgh. Like she's a baby.
She's gonna get that big hometown pop, and I already can see that.
They're going to put her on all three shows. They're going to put her on all three. They're going to put her on Dark, Rampage, and the main card, I think.
Oh, yeah. She needs to be. And then it's a good thing. So I just, unless they're bringing in people from outside who are like, you're going to boo anyway, because even if they're a babyface or a heel, because they're not from the company.
How's reaction going to be?
Who's?
Braun Strowman's.
He's not coming.
I don't know, man. Tony Khan said we got a big talent coming, so
Yeah, there was 2 people we talked about at the beginning of this show. We're 30 minutes in.
I think he meant big. I think he meant big, as in like stature wise, though.
I definitely.
All right,
think
so
anything. Anyway, that was what I definitely want to talk about was just Britt Baker. She's so over. I wonder how much it's going to affect or did affect the booking that they're doing moving forward.
No, because I think we're getting into the season where you're going to see a lot of crossover. I think with NWA and Ring of Honor and Impact doing their stuff, there might be Deonna Purrazzo showing up at AEW eventually.
I was going to say, didn't she show up and ask for a match with Deonna
on Twitter? Not on
Twitter.
Not
Yeah, on Twitter. She's trying to get over that match.
So
That'd be good.
Her, those 2, and Chelsea Green are like the 3 best friends from what I know.
Just because you said it, you know who else can probably show back up on AEW programming from NWA now?
Who?
Kylie Ray. Smiling Kylie.
I'm gonna keep that to myself because
I would be so happy to see that. She was the one I picked when it first started the company. I was like, oh, I love this person.
Yeah, but never mind. We're not gonna touch on that. Elias, segment.
I think the opening segment was pretty cool, in my opinion.
The laborers. Oh well, there's big news. Yeah.
Yeah, the first match. I thought that, man, I don't know how to feel about that. The ending, though. I mean,
Y'all know how I feel. Y'all know how I feel about the Nick Gage stuff.
You don't like it.
I don't think Nick Gage needs to be on TV. I'm very happy Cardona is going to have a match with him next week because I'm a big Cardona fan.
It's this weekend.
It's this weekend. Yeah, I'm in Vegas, so unfortunately I'm going to have to watch that probably on the flight back. But I don't like Nick Gage. I just don't care for him, his character, the style of wrestling. But then I like Sammy versus Penny, so maybe I'll enjoy it.
I mean, the match itself was pretty decent. It wasn't like too much to be like holy shit, but
well, we talked about this, Elias. Jericho was going to make Spears look good. We talked about it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I still think that Shawn Spears is getting the short end of the stick everywhere he goes, in a sense. But
I think he has a lot of say in what he's doing right now.
No, I agree, but
Sure.
I just feel like he's a good wrestler. He's a good guy. Like, I like him. I really like his character. I still feel like sometimes he gets the short end of the stick no matter what he's doing. But like right now, if you ask somebody who's the weakest link in the Pinnacle, people are gonna say Shawn Spears. I mean, Tully is manager, like, but like out of the wrestlers, you're gonna say that it's Shawn Spears.
Every group has one though, and I would say of the people that are in that group, yeah, it's gonna be Shawn, or it would be whoever would be there instead of Shawn.
Well, who's the weak link in Inner Circle then?
Hager.
But he's the muscle.
Hager.
But he's definitely the weakest of them.
But he owned the muscle of the Pinnacle.
Yeah, but he's still
the weakest one.
He's still the weakest one. He's not as over as Sammy, nor Santana Ortiz, nor Jericho.
But then you're saying that the weakest link is stronger than the last two members of the Pinnacle.
If you booked a 5-on-5, unless Inner Circle's winning, who's getting pinned in the Pinnacle?
Shawn
Wardlow
Spears. Shawn Spears.
Okay, you book if Pinnacle's winning, who's getting pinned in the Inner Circle?
Hager, Santana Ortiz, and Sammy Jericho are probably the final two.
Okay, well, Hager was your first one. He's the weakest link.
I get it, but okay, maybe I'm just saying they're not doing a good job at Wardlow. Then maybe that's what I'm saying.
No. I mean, he's not like physically saying he's not the weakest link, but as far as like a popularity and stuff, it's the same thing with Shawn Spears. Shawn Spears is not the popular one in that group. It's MJF, Wardlow. Even Wardlow's more over than Shawn Spears.
Wardlow got cheers.
I mean,
that's the only thing I don't like.
Angel, you were there. those 10 chants sounded pretty intense.
They were making fun of him. That's why. That wasn't, hey, you're over. That was, ha, Jericho got you a 10. I thought right after that happened, I turned to my brother. I'm like, bro, that's probably gonna look really cool on camera because you just see the entire crowd on that side just doing the 10 thing.
It did look really good on camera. That's why I brought
I was like, that's gonna look really cool. So yeah.
Y'all want to talk about that main event?
Sure, because that was actually my favorite match of the night.
Okay, before we dive into the main event, explain Hikaluku to me. What's going on with this guy?
He's the son of. I actually know this. He's the son of Haku, right? And
Haku Leo.
He's there to number one, watch the New Japan thing, right? But he's also got a match next week for the IWGP title. So he's fighting
the US Championship.
He's fighting Archer next week. And I think he has to take the belt back to Japan, right? I would assume.
Well, they
Archer's not going to go back with it.
They still have the US tour coming up, so they're getting a lot of press for that. So that's the reason why you're seeing Jay White. That's the reason you're seeing Haiku Leo on there. So Haiku Leo was a young boy in Bullet Club before the Elite left. So once he went out on injury, came back, he shaped up, lost a little weight, but he's the tallest. He's around the same size. He's taller than Lawrence Archer.
He's taller than Archer. It was crazy. And apparently on commentary, JR was having a field day with that. I didn't get to hear that part of the thing.
JR was like, man, look how tall this guy. Like, he was peeing his pants. Like he basically said, if I can sign this guy right now, I'm signing him. That's basically
he probably asked him backstage, how quickly can you come back over here?
Is Haikulio or whatever his name is he a Roman relative?
Yeah, they're all no. Wait, he is. He's Roman's relative. He's cousin.
Because Haku is Rikishi's brother, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well then
family.
Yeah.
Cousin. Somewhere in there. Okay.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe's the only one not related.
So what you're saying is Roman to
no, because
AEW?
Tamatonga and Balak Fale are not part of the Samoan dynasty. They're just Polynesian. So that's the only thing about it.
So
but Haikuleo and Tongaloa are. I mean, Tongaloa are are family, and they're related to the Samoan dynasty.
I was just saying before this match started, obviously during the break, Justin Roberts asked, who do you guys think is going to win? Is it going to be Jon Moxley? Got a bunch of cheers. It's going to be Lance Archer, and there's more cheers for Archer, obviously because he's from Dallas.
He's from Texas. Yeah,
he's from right outside of Dallas somewhere, or actually right outside of College Station, I think, Hearn.
He's from Katy, I thought.
All intents and he's from Hearn. It's a really small town.
It's right outside of Austin.
He says he gets billed from whatever bigger cities close.
He was billed from Houston for a while.
He got billed from Houston. He was billed from Dallas.
Too, right? We talked about this, Elias. They billed him from.
Yeah, he was billed from Katy for a while too.
So, but yeah, I mean, obviously, so there was a lot of cheering for Archer.
I think this match was enjoyable. The ending of it was pretty sick, in my opinion. That chokeslam to the barbed wire tables.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a pretty sweet ending to the match, and I know after the match I saw the replay, or I saw like somebody taping, but Jon Moxley put over Lance Archer pretty good. Afterwards,
that was still during the show.
During the show, okay.
That was still during the show. It went off air, and it was that was when Hikalu, whatever his name is, Haikuleo, did the face-to-face. That's how they went off the air. And then it was just Archer talking afterwards. I have that.
Is Moxley taking a break? Is that the plan?
I don't think so. He already finished his break, I would assume.
Okay, no, he never took a break.
He had 2 weeks off during the pregnancy, but I don't think it was like an.
I think a guy like him doesn't care, doesn't mind being out.
I think they're just going to put him in another feud, probably against Miro. I would like to see that rematch.
Miro's next opponent was announced is Shotty Lee.
Who?
Lee Johnson. Big Shotty, who, by the way, looks like he might have hurt himself, so they might not even do that match. He tried to do a twisting 360 something from the top rope and hit his head on the mat pretty bad.
Ooh.
So they're gonna give it to what's his face, Arn Anderson's kid then probably.
He's working with
Double A Junior.
He's working with a
Double A
Varsity
Junior.
Blondes. It looks like him. It's like a clone.
Literally, just
but,
not as fundamentally sound as Double A, but Double
He
A
just
has
started. Elias, calm down.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like,
yeah, he's
okay.
No, that's what I was about to say. He's young, so
I should say, as far as the main event goes, a lot of cool stuff for Texas Deathmatch. I mean, there was a point where Archer, this got me super into the match. It was when he picked up that crowd member and threw him at Jon Moxley. I was like, what are these guys? That's how I knew something crazy was about to start happening. Obviously, with these two guys, you knew it would. But from that point forward, it felt like it was just nonstop action, pop, 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 pop. And they only had about 15 minutes, I want to say. I feel like they wanted to do all of this stuff within like a 25-minute time frame. But obviously, they can't do that really on TV.
My favorite part of it was with the fork. Like when they started stabbing each other with the forks.
That was pretty... Everyone was like, "Oh my god!" Everyone turned away. that was around me.
Last thing I want to touch on AEW before we jump to NXT. Hangman, Angel. I know you haven't been on for a couple of weeks. I've been telling Elias and Matt, because they were pooping all over Kenny Omega. I was like, guys, just wait. It's a story. I'm like, eventually Hangman's gonna face Kenny, and everyone wanted to poop on Moise. Like, oh, we don't believe Moise. Blah blah blah.
You can just say you miss me, Moise. It's okay,
dude. Like, I am so for this Hangman thing. I want to buy Hangman here, but he doesn't have one shirt that I think looks cool.
There's a lot of cowboy S. Is it cowboy S all over the arena?
I can't walk around with a shirt that says Cowboys. People think I'm a Cowboys fan. No, so I can't do that.
They would think it'd be Cowboys. Yeah.
Or shit. Which they are, but that's neither here nor there.
Literally better than anything Houston has. Continue, Moise.
Really? I mean,
your quarterback's about to go to jail. Be quiet.
Yeah,
he's not our quarterback anymore.
Your quarterback's going to jail or Miami, one or two.
Same thing.
Yeah.
What was your question?
I mean, it's the first year in about a while that we made the playoffs.
Hey, be professional. Be professional. We're talking about the show.
Okay.
Moise.
So yeah. You think Hangman? Me and you, I think, are on the same page. Hangman will probably lose the first match and then win at the pay-per-view, correct?
I think so. I think he might even. I think the first match is going to be the pay-per-view, and he's going to lose. I think he's going to be losing at what's the next one? All Out.
Yeah,
I think he's losing.
I would rather see him get crowned at All Out.
The story. I think there's more story in him losing and still being like, I finally accepted these people as my friends, and I let them down again. I think there's a better story there, and it feels like Kenny it's weird. It still feels like he just got the belt.
It feels like he's not peaked yet in this championship.
Exactly. So I think there's more story here than, hey guys, I won. The story is in the chase, not in him being champion.
So here's my question: do you think that this will culminate to, if it doesn't happen at All Out, do you think it will culminate at Double or Nothing?
It would be Full Gear would be the next one, and then yes, Double or Nothing after that.
I think the first title match will be in New York, though.
I don't think so,
because they haven't built anything for that New York show. But tickets are selling like crazy, so they don't need to, honestly. But
you could have the Bucks lose.
I'm starting to dig the Bucks. Like, I'm getting very into the Bucks, and Elias doesn't like it.
I don't know why.
I love it. I love their stuff right now.
Because they're doing what they gotta do. They're pissing you off. They're heels.
Yeah, they're doing their job. Exactly.
It's not much about that's Matt, but to me, it's like but to me, it's like I followed the Bucks before AEW. Like I still
Cool
religiously
guy.
watch BTE. Still religiously watch BTE. But it just, I don't know. It feels like this run is forced. Like the heel turn was forced. Whether it's like I know they're doing a great job at what they're doing. Like they're pissing people off, and that's the point of what they did before AEW was piss everybody off. So to me, it just I don't know. It feels forced, and maybe it's just because I already knew the Bucks, like this heel version of the Bucks, and it just doesn't feel as organic as it felt when before they turned faces. Like
I dig it. I
like
dig
Kenny
it.
is doing
And so
Kenny
just-
is doing a Kenny and Don Callis are great together. That's like, in my opinion, that's like kind of like Heyman and Paul Heyman and Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar kind of pairing.
It's like Hangman. What did Paul Heyman move?
You know, like Heyman and Brock Lesnar type of thing.
Brock
Like,
is not anywhere close to the kind of character.
No, but like not I'm not talking about the character, but the pairing, like Don Callis being Kenny's mouthpiece, with the exception that Kenny can hold his own in a promo war. Because
Okay.
Brock Lesnar can get demolished in a promo
So
war.
back to Moises' question: do you think? I don't think Hangman's winning the first match. You know what would be? What I see happening.
The first match is in New York. I honestly do.
What I see happening to try to build to the second match, you have to do something to make Kenny want a second match. Because after he beats someone, he's like, okay, I'm done with you. Done with you. Done with you. There has to be a reason for his crazy mind, or to drive him even crazier. I think Hangman will kick out of the One Wing Angel the first match. And that's what drives Kenny insane. He's like, I'm going to beat all these other people. When he's done beating everyone else, he's like, I need to beat this guy the right way. I need to beat him on the first pin, that kind of stuff.
I'm gonna agree with you on this one, because All Out is September 5th, right? And then a week or two later, no, 2 weeks later, they go to that New York show. So I think that they'll go 3 weeks later. 3 weeks later, they go to the Grand Slam, which will be in Queens. So I think that Hangman will lose that match, and in those 3 weeks they'll get the rematch, and if he wins, he'll win it at Grand Slam.
I think that's too soon they don't really do rematches. I think it's going to be 2 pay-per-views after, if he loses the first one.
Either way, we think Hangman's getting this title off of Kenny.
At some point.
Okay.
He's the only one that makes sense.
Yeah, let's dive into NXT so I can side with Elias on some arguments, maybe. Okay. Angel, first time watching NXT in a while, right?
Yeah, parts of it.
How do you like the Gargano and the Way stuff?
Gargano who?
The Way.
The Way? I don't think I watched that stuff. I only watched the final match. I watched part of the stuff with Cameron Grimes.
Did you watch Odyssey Jones?
And no.
Okay, Odyssey Jones is a stud. You need to YouTube that guy.
That's that he fought Kushida, right? Or something.
No, Odyssey Jones is in the breakout tournament.
Oh, no. You shouldn't ask me anything.
Yeah. Elias, talk about something. I thought NXT was very blah this week, honestly. I like the
it wasn't it was consistent, but it wasn't, nothing really stood out. I think the main event, which was the Xia Li versus Raquel, stood out in my opinion. Even though it looks like Xia did kind of get injured at the end.
I think they said she was okay.
Yeah. I think it was just a bad bump, or she didn't cover herself properly, so she took the full force of Raquel's weight. What is really interesting me is the Karrion Kross and Samoa Joe thing, which the ending of it was kind of, I hated it because of the fact of how they did it, how they did Karrion on Raw, and that's the only thing that took away from it, in my opinion. It kind of like it took away from the build up for this story, because they're still making him look dangerous on NXT while he goes to the main roster and just gets beat by Jeff Hardy in a roll up pin. But that's, at least Normal Words is back. I mean, I at least Normal Words is back.
And so in the stadium or in the arena yesterday, there's a group of people with WWE stuff on, and they were there to enjoy the show too, I'm sure. But I could hear them talking, and they were talking about this that Raw thing. They're like, "Man, I'm so glad No More Words is back. Oh man, it's such a cool theme." And Jeff Hardy won. I'm like, I turned and I looked at him, and I was just like, I don't think these guys know anything about NXT from the sounds of it. And I talked to this guy that was below me, and he was talking about it because he's heard them too. He goes, "What a bunch of dumb people to think that an NXT champion getting pinned is a good thing because of a theme song." It blew my mind to hear that, because I don't see it.
In fairness, the only thing that's saving this is Charlotte got pinned before her debut too.
Yeah, that's
Charlotte lost to Natalya.
Charlotte lost to Natalya her first match in the main roster, which was kind of a callback to the NXT Women's Championship match that they had. So it was 1-on-1 there.
But the difference here is she's Charlotte Flair. She's Flair. Cross is a guy to Vince. No connection.
But Vince was high on Cross, so that's where it kind of even when we were when we were watching it, even I was like, what the fuck, like I was still like, okay, I'm trying to put this in a storyline perspective, but I really can't, because it's like,
because there isn't one.
Now I'm just there isn't one.
There is a story, guys. The story is Cross is gonna lose one more time, and then that's gonna summon Scarlett, and that's gonna summon Cross into being introduced as Cross to
Crisscross
to the WWE audience, where he's the demon guy, whatever the hell they do on NXT, and then he'll become a killer.
I will point this out. I do not like
this company
Cross
is
without
stupid.
Scarlett.
This company is stupid.
Do you think they got the loss? One thing really quick, Elias. Do you think they got the loss out of the way because they saw how fans reacted to the Asuka finally losing the Charlotte thing? Do you think they just wanted to get the loss out of the way?
I would say so, but it's still backwards booking.
Don't do it while you're presenting him as the champion of this other.
Don't do it while you're presenting him to be this killer guy. But while the match itself, he did have a lot of offense. He did dominate the match. It was still like a dirty pin is still like wasn't fair to him to give him that loss through a dirty pin, which I would have. But at the same time, I'm like, knowing how the IWC is, I was like, if Jeff Hardy would have lost, they would have been everybody would have been like, oh, Jeff Hardy isn't being used well enough. Blah,
do you know
blah,
how many people they have backstage that they could have put Cross against? How many squash people are back there?
Not a lot anymore.
You didn't have to put Jeff Hardy in this match. There's a bunch of people backstage that they could have grabbed.
I even tweeted WWE. I was like really, like, y'all really have to do better with Raw. Like, it's shit. Like,
they're in charge of the booking. They didn't have to put Jeff in there.
Yeah. Anyways,
same thing with Keith Lee. God, don't even. Okay, I don't want to talk about Raw.
Yeah.
Go back to NXT.
Okay. Jake Maverick, LA Knight was another segment that I'm enjoying this build with the $1 Million Championship and how things are going with LA Knight and Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes' reluctancy to do anything that that LA Knight tells him to do. It's building up to something special, in my opinion, with that. Especially if they ever go to that rematch for the $1 million belt. I think Ted DiBiase will get his payback on what LA Knight did to him. So that's another segment that I enjoyed. Of course, the NXT Breakout Tournament is pretty cool. It's ramping up. Odyssey Jones versus Andre Chase was a pretty good match itself. Odyssey Jones is going to be something big in the near future. So if you don't know about him, go check him out. You'll enjoy his matches, even in the indies. Odyssey Jones was pretty good.
I have a question for Chris, if he's still listening. I know he says he's interested. The biggest thing he's interested in is Joe coming back. Do you see Joe taking the title? That's how Cross leaves, guys, to back to the main roster.
I think so.
Have we not seen that already before?
No.
Joe with the title in NXT?
Yes, he's the 2-time champion. So if he beats Cross, he'll become a 3-time NXT champion.
Who's had the title the most? I would assume Ciampa or someone like Ciampa.
No,
Nakamura
it's like
had
between
the title twice, right?
two for Ben Nakamura, 2 for Finn Balor, 2 for Adam Cole, and 2 for Samoa Joe.
So who's okay? So Joe would have had the most titles runs.
Yeah, but I'm actually interested to see if once Joe gets back into wrestling,
I was
there's
gonna
a couple of dream matches that I would love to see.
Technically, this would only be like a number one contenders match because Jeff's the champion now, right?
Maybe.
That's how I think it was. That's how I think booking is.
We want to talk about one more segment about NXT, which is the Hit Row segment with Legado del Fantasma. Which, if I could get Moise to pay attention.
Sorry. Yeah, the Hit Row segment. I think AJ Francis is money. I don't know what I think about. I think Legado's kind of going backwards, but I don't know. I like how Swerve said it took 3 of you guys to stop me from getting the cruiserweight title, so I recruited my own boys. I like that part. I think Brianna Brandy is money. We talked about last week. I said the more mic time she gets, I think the better she'll get. I think she's really good. Honestly, if they even keep her off to wrestling and just keep her as a mouthpiece, I think she could strive there. Other than that, the Drake Maverick thing kind of like broke my heart and that's what it was supposed to do. So I was very upset when Grimes swung at Drake Maverick.
Cameron Grimes.
I didn't read any of the spoilers, but apparently the next 2 weeks have been taped, and some tag team breaks up, which I think it's going to be Ciampa and Thatcher, just from what it looks like.
There's a spoiler that I saw that I'm not going to say, but it's going to be a holy shit moment when it happens.
Is it what I just predicted?
No, it's completely has nothing to do with what you just predicted, and I'll leave it at that.
Oh, that's good. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and it's gonna be. It's been building it for a while now. So when it happens, it's that perfect payoff, in my opinion.
Oh, okay, I know what it is. Okay, it's what I think it is. I know it is.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. I think NXT was pretty flawed. Do you want to touch on anything else on there?
Just Frankie Monet. I think Frankie Monet is gonna. They're starting to ramp her up a little bit more, so I'm interested to see what else they do with Frankie Monet.
I don't want to see her feud with Mandy.
I don't either, but it's gonna happen whether we like it or not. But I think Mandy's gonna put Frankie over, so I think that's one of the payoffs on it.
I think Jessica May looks really good.
She does. So yeah, no, that's pretty much it. I mean, main things from NXT. The tag team match between Kushida and Bobby Fish. I thought that was a decent opening match in my opinion. So other than that, that's pretty much it from NXT.
Just reference, we covered NXT in about 10 minutes.
Yeah, but we also talked about different things with AEW.
Okay, I was just making sure there wasn't something that we left out. I like Raquel, or whatever that means.
I think Raquel is a good champion. I think she's they made her look. They're making her look really strong, in my opinion. And she's Mexican, so she's paisa. So it's all
Mhm.
good in the hood with me. Wait, going back to the hit row versus Legado. Do we really think that they're gonna add that woman to Legado? Moise?
Do you really think they're gonna? I think no. I don't think they're gonna get a woman. I want them to, but I don't think they will.
So if rumors are true, it's looking like Selena De Renta might be signing with WWE. wanna
She
see
just
her-
confirmed an appearance. She just confirmed an appearance for SWE next month. So I don't know how that would work.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's got me thinking it's going to be either AEW or Impact if she does anything. But
I wouldn't complain even if she went to Ring of Honor or NWA. I would be happy because that pay per view that they're doing is going to be stacked for the women's pay per view.
no, it's not. There's like 3 names people care about, Elias.
I mean, if they get Deanna versus was it Deanna versus?
Nikki?
They already
They're
said
gonna
who. No,
They're going to be at the Impact pay-per-view.
maybe I don't know. I'm interested to see what's going on. It's a good time in wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. It is a good time in wrestling. There's a lot of things that are going on that are pretty cool. So, and that's it. I think that's pretty much it. We covered everything. Anything else?
Where the hell is Randy Orton?
No idea.
Yeah, I'm surprised nobody's reported anything about that. I feel like people legit have forgotten about him.
Maybe
I think he's just taking vacation. I mean, Randy is just probably taking vacation.
His last thing, July 20th, was the last time he said anything. And that was just him retweeting something. So June 28th.
I think he's taking a vacation.
It's a weird time for him to take a vacation. Suppose he wanted to do this, though.
I mean, if he's taking a vacation, it's a good time for the kids before they go back to school.
I'm just talking about like he wanted to do this thing with
Riddle.
With
Riddle. So I don't think if he's gone, it's not by his choice, I don't think.
Or I think they're trying to build this because you already see that Riddle is taking all his moveset. So I think they're like that heel turn for Randy to turn on Riddle is coming.
Or maybe Riddle does the heel turn.
Maybe
That's what I'm
too.
thinking.
There's nothing.
Riddle's the one that kidnapped Randy, and that's why he's been on TV, off TV.
Exactly.
Hey.
He thinks he killed him. That's why he keeps looking to the sky when he talks about him.
Oh, I forgot. NXT segment with MSK. There was a backstage segment with MSK, and the interviewer had asked MSK, what does MSK mean? And they were going to say it, and they weren't able to say it because somebody interrupted them. But
it means marijuana smoking kids.
Mm-hmm. I miss the Treehouse segments in Impact. I really miss those.
Of course you do. All right.
They were funny. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this week's show.
I'm gonna go watch Impact.
Next week. We'll be back next week on an episode.
No, you're in Orlando.
Oh wait, no, yeah, I won't be here unless y'all want to go live. Y'all can go live, but I will be out next week. So if y'all want to do a 2-man show, we'll talk about it offline. But yeah, either way, if we're not back next week, we'll be back in 2 weeks. So from everybody here at Weekly Wrestling Heat, we are officially out. Peace.